pastor that helped to create the demon, Kevin, is actually sleep with his two daughters.
Right.
Wagwan people, one of the would hope everybody doing good on the Friday morning, yeah. Anyways, we have another clippings of Kevin's former friend, which was his best friend in Canada, Esther Dupree, and she had provided us with more detail, more information on Kevin Smith. You see the previews and sub. Yeah, so similar to the last time, it's just this is part 2, basically, because she did say she have more things to say. So right now, I'm gonna check out Wagwan. Much appreciated if you press on the like button. Yeah, man. Share the video across every single platform. And you guys can follow us on Instagram at Dancehall Agenda. And if you're new to the channel or if you've been and watched the video and subscribe, go ahead and subscribe now. Press on the bell icon. Click all so you get all the notification whenever we drop a video.
Correct, right?
Correct.
That they are in charge, but they don't want to step up front yet and say anything because they don't want to bring a red flag to everything. So what you're saying with all of this, everything is locked into what it needs to be and so forth at this moment, right? And I get to understand that it's not only in Jamaica, but it's also in other Caribbean countries that they have created these. And I get to understand that at times these pastors sit into their office and talk about breasts and talk about it.
Right. They it's a whole different. Listen, when a church has dinner, like church normally has dinner, none of the pastors don't sit with just regular people, you know. The pastors and the bishop, they have a different room where they sat. Jesus sat amongst people, didn't he?
Right.
But the bishop and the pastor, them actually have a separate room where all of them congregate and they all up there making jokes and they all have different set of food from what the regular people eat.
Right. This is because something about this whole thing just don't add up. Is that when I get all the names them today from people that goes to the church and they're telling me, say, listen, Dr. Love, I don't want to be out there because I can't go to the church same way.
Right.
Kevin is a scammer. Kevin is a murderer. Kevin is involved in spiritual growth. Kevin came here when he was 14 and Kevin was taught by these pastors how to be and what it is. And Kevin was also disobedient to the pastor. So Kevin wandered and do what it because they never want to put him up front. He actually take it on his own, like when he went on the pulpit. And
he took it.
And they sit there in Canada and people that's watching me, you're still go he used to come preach church where I used to see there's somebody else coming out, see? Somebody else coming out again saying the same thing. And these pastors sit there, right? And let this man stay in Jamaica, run an illegal church and commit. A lady called me today and said, Dr. Lowe, I put my life on it. The government, she said, as a member, I know Kevin personally. She said, I don't see him do it, but I know the government need to dig up that church and dig up that home that Kevin lived because there's body there. There's a lot of kids that Kevin have took away from their home that disappear, both from the church and both from the home, and they need to do more investigation. And there's a lot more people that are involved in this. Kevin is that because she said that Kevin have to report back to other head that is in charge of him. And Kevin also have to bring a certain amount of money. I get to understand that Kevin is supposed to give at least $3 million every month.
So he has an overseer that oversees him and also give him counseling.
Right. Can you imagine Kevin have to give $3 million to an oversee of operating? So
these pastors could drive around in Benz and limousine. It's not wrong, but it's how you get it.
Right.
It's how you get the money. It's not wrong any at all to live such a lavish life, but it's how you get it. So he has somebody who's given their cut of the money that he's stealing from Jamaican people because that's what he was doing. He was robbing and stealing from Jamaican people and raping them.
Right. And one thing what the lady said, Dr. Love, Kevin did supposed to between now and then. When he said the ark, she said the ark doesn't mean that it was a box. The ark was every one of these people was paying between $100,000 to $150,000 because she have a friend who actually paid $100,000 that she was going on the ark. And what is supposed to happen? She said in January, but something went wrong with Kevin overhead because there was pressure in Kevin because Kevin wanted to be in a higher position than where he is. So there was pressure in Kevin so much. So when Kevin come up with the arc and so forth, that he could get a position.
Went to another level.
Something went wrong, and she is saying that there's 3 more churches. I don't know. She said there's about 3 more churches in Jamaica. One are in Kingston. She said one are in St. Catherine, and she said she think there's another one in Montego Bay that under Kevin. It's a bunch of them and so forth, and everyone have to meet a quarter. She didn't use the word quarter, but she said have to meet a quarter or whatever it is. And this was Kevin's plan and so forth, and she believed that Kevin at least, and she's saying that in between kids, she said between kids and grown person, Kevin actually think Kevin reach over the 20,000 mark.
Well, I think 20 people is. Did you say 20?
20, yeah.
That's an underestimate, honestly.
I do believe that is the underestimate at 20,000 people and so forth. And she's saying that a lot of kids that are missing, Kevin is responsible for a lot of these kids that are missing.
Yeah, but I am happy that people confirm what I said to you the other day.
Oh yeah, they come
because
I have message from people. People call me and let me say something. People, please do not call me out for voice note and message. When I do that recording thing, when I do that voice note something, when I don't get the information, when I go get to know one information and so on. This is bringing awareness to you guys that this is what happened and so forth. So anybody I talk to, nobody can call me and ask me any information. One not nothing to get and so forth. Take one and get yours and work with that. But as it unfolds, one will get it. But the saddest thing about it is that they're saying that, the lady said that because she know Kevin and know how Kevin operate, and this is what the lady said. She said, Dr. Love, Kevin was never fat. Kevin was always a skinny person.
Right.
And over the years and so forth, she said she don't know what have happened to Kevin. Kevin just get blew up. So
it just blew. It's okay. If you look at Kevin in 2018, which wasn't very long ago, huge, massive. You know, like maybe from all of those rituals and maybe from all of that drinking of blood and stuff that he has to be doing, and he's become so lavished in the life of the Jamaican people. They treated him like a king.
Right.
You know, he was in the pool and somebody was holding an umbrella over his head. That's crazy.
Right, and then the lady said that one thing she wanted to happen is that the police, that was the bodyguard for Kevin and was in charge of Kevin, need to be investigation because the police is also involved in murder.
Dr. Love, let me tell you something. I think everybody in the church that Kevin was ministering to and running is responsible.
Yeah.
I think everybody should be arrested.
Yeah.
Because there were people there taking their children, and he would grow children in front of their parents. They are a liability. They are responsible. I think all of them should be arrested, and I think they should be penalized. And who can't pay, the government should put them for work. All of those cult people.
Yep, that's what the lady said. The lady said Kevin have drink a lot. She said that she and Kevin was all in a conversation one day, and what Kevin was saying to her on the phone was disturbing. It's like it is, and it's okay for Kevin to do certain things, and he don't have any sympathy. This is what he does. And she said, Dr. Love, why you think the church have so much food and stuff in there? She said what Kevin does, because this is what she said that Kevin told her, is that Kevin take the people and lock them in the church and torture them at times and let them do all kind of things to one another. She said, Kevin, lock up the people in that church and let them
Lot of things.
own supermarket, an old store that he could have feed the people while they're there. And she said what Kevin does is go outside and bring in outsiders, like kids and different people, and bring them in and lock them into that church. And the members know about it and they have done nothing about it.
Yeah. And that's why I said the members as well are responsible.
Right.
Because if you're going to a church and a pastor send you a message, tell you to show up with no phone,
Right.
this is a norm. This is the norm for them to do this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's normal for them to be naked. What kind of church you have to get naked in? Your body is the temple of God, you know, and whosoever defileth the temple of God, him shall God destroy. So if you're a pastor, why are you naked?
Right.
And why are all the men naked?
And not only that, too, the girl that died, the lady said that the girl that died took our family off our life insurance because Kevin, this is what she said. She said Kevin told the girl that if she wanted to stay in the church, Kevin told her that if she wanted to stay in the church, also how much money she have to pay. And I get to understand that that girl work and take her hard earned money and bring it to Kevin. The last money they said the girl gave to Kevin was over 200,000 that the girl gave to Kevin to stay in that church. So every member in that church pay for a slot in the church.
In the church, right?
And then she said one thing with him, he would feed you. He would make sure you have food and everything. But you have to do everything under his government and his ruling. And she said that the fact that Kevin done all of this, there was always a police present that goes to the church that know about this, that help them to carry out everything that they're doing. So it never come to any form of attention to any law enforcement to come to the property of doing any investigation because Kevin have police that he was paying money. One of the police officer, I get to understand that the police officer was getting over $75,000 a month.
Right.
To be there under Kevin rules and so forth for the church. And when Kevin did that big parade and so forth, right? It was a higher minister that was a part of it and so forth, right? And there was police officer was on the payroll that got money to carry out that whole thing that Kevin did.
So that was the time he messaged us and said he was going by His Excellency in Jamaica.
Right.
Because Kevin feed people, it does not exempt him of his own people. A con artist, a devil worship. It's not like this man is saying, oh, I'm on this side. But this man is on animal, he's on men, he's on women. Right. So he's a cruel person.
Right.
And vindictive and very abusive to women. And not only that, he did not love to be under any authority. He liked to be in charge.
Right. And one thing the lady said, Dr. Love, the picture that Kevin took with Portia Simpson Miller and all these people, none of these people are involved with Kevin. The lady,
none of them.
Kevin is so smart and so educated. He's the person like this that will come up to you, he will pursue you, he will talk to you so nice and take a picture with you just to use it as a part. Because what they said he did, he took all the pictures with Portia and all these people and used that with them
to convince other
people that these people are working with him, and that's how he get all this money.
Okay, so if you're a pastor, why do you have a picture with Sean Paul? That means he was collecting photos.
Exactly.
He was collecting photos.
Exactly.
Of celebrities, and so that people can think he's in this high rank.
Right. And people are saying the same thing, which I'm going. People are saying that why you never talked up before. No, hold on a minute. Let me adjust.
Okay.
You guys are asking a stupid question why she never talked up before. Put yourself in the position. If the person is alive and the person have connection to doing things, and if you're talking, nobody's believing it. Here comes a platform and here comes a situation because people are glorifying him like he's such a great person. Would you hold a conversation at that moment, or would you talk now for people to understand what kind of demon he is? That is what people are. Maybe you could explain that to them better.
Okay. First of all, the desolation of this whole issue is we did speak. Nobody listened. We complained. I was humiliated in church. My clothes was ripped off.
Wait a
in
minute.
church.
Hold on a minute. When you said that your clothes was ripped off in church and you was humiliated, what do you mean and what happened? You don't have to get it, but what?
Okay. This is my chance. Would be my chance to call some names.
Right.
And really, have my day, but I'm not going to.
Right. But wait, let me say something.
Meaning,
hold on, let me say something. Let me correct some of the people. The people. What I've just asked her a while ago is not an easy thing. Right, people? What you have to understand is that if I never talked to a lot of people, I would be still questioning. But a lot of people call me, get my number and call me and tell me that they know you and they have done things to you and you have been talking for all these years. And people would look at you like you was a troublemaker or something was wrong with you. Until another lady tell me everything and so forth. You don't have to call name. But this is very important. When you said that your clothes was ripped off and you was humiliated in church, right?
In church.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you could elaborate a little bit on that, of what have happened to you, then people would understand. Because the reason why I'm saying this, a lot of women are still going through this situation right now.
Right.
You get a chance, let me tell you something. This is not for views from your views, you get a platform now where
I have a platform,
exactly. So now you can talk what you have been through and help others. You don't have to go into everything and all that. You don't have to call names, you will call names or whatever it is, because I love calling names. That's how I deal with things, right? So when you say you have been humiliated and so forth in church and your clothes have been ripped off, it's very
right.
You let them know, what do you mean your clothes was ripped off of you?
Okay, when I actually went to reveal that this homosexual act was going on,
right?
It's not only men, but there was a high power.
Right.
Actually held me like this in my clothes,
right,
and ripped my clothes. That's in church. And I know people will say, nobody could never do that to me. They could never rip. You're a young person. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do?
Oh, you're at that time?
Probably around 15. Yeah.
You was about 15 when you open your mouth and they hold you in church, in Canada, and rip your clothes off.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right? And what happened after that?
It was my friend and I spoke about Kevin. Mm-hmm. Kevin tried to, and they basically didn't believe us.
Wait, I don't mean to cut you. No, the lady told me today that your friend came and complained to you and others in the church that Kevin was trying to climb up on the guy. It did not happen. And when you went to the pastor, they ripped you apart and said that you was a little troublemaker and nothing.
Troublemaker. And I should leave church.
Right, you should leave church and all that. And I actually found the guy page when the person told me. And I sent the guy a message because I said, I want to talk to the guy and found out. And I got a message from somebody that, yes, Kevin did try to have, right? And it never happened and so forth. But it was so bad in the church that nobody would believe that they want to run all of us out of the church.
No, nobody would believe. Nobody believed.
Right.
No one believed. And if you have people, church is a place of its own.
Right.
It's it's like a gangster movie who's in the higher rank of gang, and who's on the cool side and who is not so cool, and that's how you gotta look at it. So if you are a pastor's son, you have an authority, and Kevin was like like I said, I don't know who adopted him. Right. He often spoke that his mom was abusive. We don't know who brought him here. He was here since he was 14. I don't know. I don't have that history. I just knew that he's Jamaican, and I don't know who adopted him. Right. But he was basically hang out with the bishops, the pastors, and the ministers. Right. He never hung out with, we just happened to have him as our friend. Right. So, being our friend, him being our friend make us kind of cool, but not really that cool. Right. Yeah. So when we came out and said that this happened, nobody believed us because we're nobody. Right. Right?
Right, because the lady said that one of the pastors that helped to create the demon, Kevin, is actually sleep with his two daughters.
Right.
Right? And I'm just saying a lot of things you don't know, but people, one of the man that created the demon, Kevin, is that he'll go to church in Canada, end up sleep with his own two daughters, and end up get away from it.
Yeah. And right now, I wanna make a disclaimer. Right. I can call names if I want to. Right. And I can promote my YouTube channel if I want to, but I'm not here for that. I am here to save the future and for people to be aware, alert, and know that these things are happening. And I could call certain names, but I don't want to, and that is not my plan.
That's okay. I have to name them, and when you come up, I will call the name because let me ask you, do you know